Basic Underwater Demolition SEAL Training, otherwise known as BUDS, is perhaps the most well-known course in all of military training. And Hell Week, where SEAL candidates undergo 5.5 days of training with little to no sleep, is the greatest source of attrition. While there's a lot of talk on how you should prepare for BUDS, the focus of this video is on what real data from thousands of SEAL candidates shows correlates with success, including strength, endurance, and body composition. And at the end, I'll share how I train my athletes, including free workout templates for beginner, intermediate, and advanced athletes. Historically, the attrition rate at BUDS has been upwards of 70%, and that's with the average SEAL candidate entering BUDS with a 9:30 500-yard swim and 1.5-mile run and 75 push-ups and sit-ups. Between classes 306 to 317, the data shows that the 3-mile run, shuttle run, standing long jump, and 800-meter swim were the greatest predictors of Hell Week success. And all the way at the bottom of the list were the strength movements, the bodyweight bench press, deadlift, and 25-pound weighted pull-up, which all had effect sizes so low they were trivial by statistical standards. This could lead many to believe that strength just doesn't matter, and you just need to focus on running, agility, and jumping far, but we'll talk about that later. First, let's take a look at the running data, which is far and away most important. Those running a 7 to 7:20 minute mile pace for 3 miles had only a 9% chance of completing Hell Week, but running 3 miles at a minute per mile pace faster than that at a 6 to 6:20 minute per mile pace tripled a candidate's odds, going all the way up to a 30% chance. At BUDS, you need to be able to run fast. The slowest candidate to complete Hell Week between classes 306 and 317 ran a 22:37 3-mile run. That's a 7:32 minute mile pace. And this data comes directly from Naval Special Warfare and was collected at the prep school, which tested 1,289 candidates. Once candidates get to BUDS, they'll begin doing timed 4-mile runs in soft sand, and the data on timed 4-mile runs is also clear. The faster you run, the more likely you are to succeed. But what about the strength data? Based on the other charts, it didn't seem important, and I'm personally not a fan of how the NSW Fitness Center organized this data, and perhaps that's why it's since been removed from their website. When you dig one level deeper, you'll actually see there's only a couple percentage point difference in Hell Week success rates based on deadlift strength. And what is significant is that the worst deadlifter to complete Hell Week was still able to deadlift 1.5 times their body weight, so clearly there's a minimum level of strength needed to be successful. And when we look at weighted pull-ups, it's even more stark. The average BUDS candidate can do 10 to 12 weighted pull-ups with 25 pounds. Those weaker than that had less than a 13% chance of completing Hell Week, and those stronger than that could double their chances at 23%. What the previous charts fail to account for is that just because only 2 out of the 14 candidates who could do 19 plus pull-ups completed Hell Week does not mean doing more pull-ups reduces your chance of success. We clearly see a trend where stronger is better. I can spend 10 more minutes analyzing this data, but at a point it does become overkill. Here are my 3 takeaways and the cardio and strength standards I recommend you hit for Navy SEAL training, and then right after we'll get into the data on height, muscle mass, and body composition. First is that running performance is far and away the greatest predictor of success. You want to get your run time as fast as possible, ideally under 19 minutes for your 3-mile. And while strength is not as important at BUDS as we found it was for Army Special Forces assessment and selection, you still need to be strong. I recommend hitting a 275-pound squat and at least a 335-pound deadlift before shipping. And third is that you need to take active measures to reduce your risk of injury. This chart here shows in many classes, more candidates were med-ruled than actually completed Hell Week. I find many athletes that I work with are deficient somewhere in their posterior chain, which is the back of your body. Horizontal pulling movements like rows and face pulls are great exercises. Also, deadlift variations, hamstring curls, and even simple isolation exercises like cable external rotations and calf and tib raises can help mitigate your risk of injury. But now let's talk about body composition. While the data on BUDS is not as granular, the NSW Fitness Director has shared some details. Those with 20% body fat had only a 12% chance of making it through Hell Week, while those at 11% body fat had a 21% chance. And this makes sense. Data from the US Army also shows that a lower body fat percentage is correlated with improved performance across the board in calisthenics, running, rucking, and obstacle courses. But while you may be tempted to diet down to 8% body fat hearing this data, keep in mind it's not been shared what method NSW used to test for body fat percentage. I am personally skeptical that candidates' body fat levels were that low, especially since 1,500 candidates were tested, and it's unlikely they all had the budget or ability to test them with accuracy accurate technology. I suggest dieting to 15% and seeing how you feel. If you're performing well, consider going down lower. But remember, your body fat percentage should serve your performance goals. So the moment you feel a performance hit, stop. The other interesting insight from the NSW fitness director was around body weight and height. While we don't have any charts, here's what he shared. For the sample of students cited, height and weight both correlated with the odds of completing Hell Week. Taller and heavier students were more successful than shorter and lighter students. Those averaging around 6'2" and 200 pounds were at least 3 times as likely to complete Hell Week as those averaging around 5'6" and 150 pounds. Successful students ran and swam faster than those who dropped before completing Hell Week, regardless of size. But the gap was even wider for the smaller students. It seems that they compensated by swimming and especially running extremely fast. Now, while you can't go from 5'6" to 6'2", if it's any consolation, the data at Army Special Forces Assessment and Selection did show that differences in success between heights nearly evaporates once the shorter candidates put on more muscle. But keep in mind, rock performance and strength is valued more highly at SFAS, so putting on muscle to the detriment of your run time is a bad idea for buds. To be successful at Hell Week, you're better off being fast, lean, muscular, and strong, and you also need to be skilled as a swimmer. Here's a beginner routine that covers the basics of training to get you prepared. The full program details are available for free in the description. And after you've trained on the beginner routine for a few months, you can move on to the intermediate and advanced routine. If you're interested in learning about Army Special Forces training, specifically how hard it is, check out the video on the screen.